There we go, and we are live. I'll go ahead and call to order the regular meeting of the City Council for March 2nd, 2026. Looks like we have a quorum, so we'll move on to invocation and pledge of allegiance, and I'll be leading that tonight. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to come together to do the people's business, Lord. We ask for your wisdom and discernment as we seek to do just that. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next item of business is the approval of the February 17th regular meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. That brings us to public comment. I have two comment cards not on agenda items, which we'll address now, and then for the ones that are on matters on the agenda, we will take those when we get to those items. So first up is Alan Bruce Wagner. Please come on down, sir. Name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Alan Bruce Wagner, 36 Chico Drive here in Maumelle. The comments I'd like to talk about in this case deal with roads in general, streets. I would like to see some teeth in the enforcement on private streets to where we get them back up to city standards minimum or above before we dedicate them into the city and take them over, or even if they stay private. Commons down there, look at that. It's incumbent upon the people that own this property, but who owns the property? Because you got all these people up and down through there between the liquor store, the Starbucks, the bank, Sonic, et cetera, Kroger. Who is in charge of fixing that? Let's get it done. Get some push on it. The second is Sienna Ridge. And this is going to be an unpopular opinion with many people, but I'm going to put it this way because this is how I see this after further review and consternation on this subject. And that is the council needs to probably get pushed on that zoning change, because the way it sits right now, everybody that's worried about the 120 apartments that's in the little development plan that's kind of a preview on it are freaking out over multi-unit housing, and Epic Estates US could bring in a different builder than the local one that's been involved in this. It's been kind of looking out for Maumelle, regardless of what you think, and bring in and build 600 apartments in a heartbeat as long as he comes in with a plan that meets the city requirements. There's not a thing you can do or the planning commission can do at that point to stop it. And across from Maumelle Valley Estates is going up a 600 unit apartment complex. So I think we need to start looking at that from an entity as the people, and kind of buy back into the fact that it wasn't as bad as we thought it was when we heard apartments, at least on Mr. Holloway's design, all right? The third thing I want to talk about is a Riverland Exchange. I don't know who thinks it's a good idea to put a interchange on the downside of a hill in a curve, but I would really wish that the RDOT comes to their damn senses and changes that before we get to there, because if we don't, we may as well put a body shop on that flat spot and start pulling the cars in there and fixing them, because people are going to ram into each other there coming around that curve, unless we signage it back out there with preload lights that tell everybody it's red, get to stopping, because it's our main artery. We already have enough rear ends and everything down at Odom and the Boulevard by the Walgreens, some at the north end. So let's not create more traffic hazards with that, please. I ask you to consider. My fourth point is the road to Paul Eels that ties into that interchange. If North Little Rock ain't paying for that, since it's all in North Little Rock nearly, except for the last 100 yards, give or take, we don't need to be paying for it and building it. North Little Rock needs to build that road, because all we're doing is helping their apartments get out. My opinion. Again, that's all it is, but that's the whole thing. And the last point I'd like to make is e-devices on the trails. I used to walk 5 to 7.5 miles a day. I had to quit because of feet problems. But at the end of it, it had got almost untenable walking due to the e-devices on the trails. And I'm talking large size, 100-pound e-devices that do not yield right of way to the pedestrians. And I've even had one tell me that he had special dispensation from the city attorney that his bike was legal on that path. I know you didn't do that, sir. I understand that you did not do that, Andrew, and I'm not accusing you of that, but that man looked me straight in the eye and said that, and before I could get his name and find out what went on, he climbed on and rode off, and then next couple of times I seen him, I got the flying fickle finger of fate from him. So, you know, we need to control the e-bikes, and I know that's my time, sir, I understand.
Thank you,
but
sir.
Thank you for your patience and listening.
Next up, Doyce Hill. Yes, sir, if you could state your name and address for the record.
My name is Doyce Hill, and I live at 106 Sierra Valley Loop in Maumelle. And my comments are going to be contrary to Mr. Wagner's to some degree. And I'd like to read that statement at this point. I moved to Maumelle in July of 2021 in order to be close to my grandchildren. I chose to live in Maumelle because of the low crime rate compared to the other cities in the area, and because it appeared to be a very family-oriented community. I was impressed with the green space, the parks, and the walking trails around the city. At the time when I purchased my home, I was not aware that the property across the street had been zoned as R2, or I would have looked in other areas to relocate. I believe that the proposed development known as Sienna Ridge will greatly impact traffic, home values, and greatly reduce the demand for homes in the Maumelle area. While I understand that commercial development is important, homeowners should not be required to sacrifice their hard-earned investments in order to generate a revenue stream for the city and or the real estate developer. The only concern of the developer seems to be to recover their investment regardless of the consequences to the surrounding property owners. I've always voted for council members and mayors based on their ability to represent their constituents in a consensuous and responsible manner. A large contingency of citizens have already expressed their concerns, and I hope you'll cast your vote for the constituents and not approve this planned development, or at least suspend voting for it until a final impact study has been submitted. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. That concludes this round of public comments. For department report, I have something a little bit different, a little bit special. Y'all may recall that James Johnson was appointed as the interim director of Public Works for 90 days, an initial period of 90 days that was set to expire in April. I am proud to say at this point in time, I see absolutely no reason to wait. So James has been appointed to be the director at this point. So James, come on down. One of the things I was looking for is mindset, willingness to examine the current systems in Public Works and see a vision for how it could sort of progress from its current location. I think James is well on board with the right vision and is looking to sort of maintain the positive elements and find ways to enhance it without tipping the boat. I think leaving him interim for another month just delays him being able to make the changes that are going to hopefully start coming about. James, floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Again, thank y'all for being patient and hopefully having faith in me being able to follow through with the progress of Public Works, making it a little bit more advanced, trying to keep up with modern day needs that we have in the city. Working with a great team who also helps make this a lot easier transition, I'm sure, than they've done in the past. I look forward again to working with all of y'all. Wished I'd have had more bullet points for this.
Congrats, James.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So with that, we will move on to the Planning Commission report. Councilmember Gronwald, I heard you had a nice, slow, mild meeting.
It looked like it was going to be, but it was not. Oh yeah, feel like anybody can hear me. That's never been a complaint. But yeah, it was very full. I think every seat in the house was taken. But I actually love to see that. So I love to see residents come and participate. So right off the bat, they did have election of officers. John Jones was elected as chairman, Tracy Gill as vice chair, Mary Winnick as secretary. They then had the changing of the chairs. The public comments, there was one resident that was concerned about Maztec and the city's timeliness or lack thereof in response about damage done to property. Scott Grummer took that under advisement, and he was going to follow up with her and kind of advise her best approach. But that should probably actually be something that will come to City Council. Old business, sub 25-9, CC Lot 700, a development plan resubmittal. The applicant actually requested deferral for that for the March 26th meeting because it may or may not be affected by what we are voting on here today. In new business, that's where it got interesting. Land use 26-1, Sienna Ridge Lane, use map amendments A through D. So 173 acres adjacent to Odom Boulevard, west of Naylor Drive and Millwood Circle, and south of Ridgeview Trail. There were lots of public comments, concerns about apartment buildings behind their homes, increased need for fire and police may result in higher taxes. There was a little discrepancy about townhouse units being the same as apartments. Discussion went on, and the Planning Commission went through items A through D, and they passed item A, passed item B for recommendation, do pass recommendation to City Council, failed do pass recommendation to City Council on item C, and passed do pass recommendation to City Council on item D. RZE-26-1 Sienna Ridge rezoning, the same 173 acres. Motion to defer to March 26th meeting to gather more information. That passed. So we'll be seeing more of everything they talked about.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to adopt all or to read all ordinances and resolutions by title only.
So moved. Second.
I've got a motion, second. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. We have no new business. Well, we do it later. But new business comes after unfinished. The first item of unfinished business is the third reading of Ordinance 1170, amending the Master Street Plan. This is related to the subdivision that was being discussed. I received a call from the city attorney earlier saying that the applicant would prefer to table this to the first meeting in April to see what happens with the other stuff that is there. I will say this regard, I do have 2 public comment cards on this item. Either way, I think we should hear those public comments if the residents have come down. So I'd like to call down, first of all, Teresa Siegel.
Hello, my name is Teresa Siegel. My address is 117 Beaver Creek Lane, and I live in Maumelle Valley Estates. I was here Thursday night. I heard all of the comments about that. My main concern is our out of our neighborhood is Lake Valley Odom, right there at the guard shack at Lake Valley and Odom. Right now, we wait a while to get out because of the traffic. It is a 2-lane road. It is dark. There's no street lights back there. If we did not have a guard shack, we couldn't even see to turn in to Lake Valley. because there's no street lights. It's just what's on the guard shack and what our neighborhood has as 3 street lamps. And that's how we see how to get in Lake Valley. It's very dark back there. So coming out of that neighborhood to go across, if Lake Valley is extended into that neighborhood, Sienna Ridge is going to be a problem. Because I do not see how on earth that road can continue to be a 2-lane road. And that's what was stated, I do believe, Thursday night, for that to remain a 2-lane road. It can't be. When we bought our property in 2010, we've lived here for almost 16 years, I knew that Millwood would connect from up by Naylor down through Odom. That is nothing new to me. I knew that that was zoned. So I can't gripe about all the zoning. I can have a concern, but I cannot gripe of what my house value might decline because of that. I would hope that the planned development, if it does pass, is held at feet to the fire on that. I think some of the communication needs to be more. I didn't even know about the street change. Shame on me. I should read minutes or something, but I think I'm like a normal citizen of Maumelle and let y'all do the work, and then we complain if we don't like it. So I'm just saying, I'm here. I really wish you would consider denying that. I feel like that developer is changing a lot of things, whether it's planned or not, and it's good for our community to go in there and change that intersection. And Millwood and all of that, it's looked like he's doing a lot of different things that whole area was not planned to do for his investment, like someone had said earlier, to get his investment. So that's why I would ask that you would deny that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next public comment card, Mr. Wagner.
Well, as they say, Alan Bruce Wagner, 36 Chico Drive, and yes, I'm back. All right, my point on this is the same one I was making Thursday night in the meeting, and that is that when the roads are done and the construction starts, or when the roads are being built and the construction starts, that they at least put back the roads they used to get there, Millwood, et cetera, to the level of incompetence or better than they are when they started. You start driving those high weight skidders and stuff in there to do work and Caterpillars, and you're gonna tear our roads up. They need to be put back. I understand there's a bonding process for the contractor that is in place to do that. But don't just slap down some bituminous on top of it and call it done. I wanna see it done right, whatever's done. As the previous speaker spoke about the intersection, I do agree with that also. That intersection has got to be wider than it is for that number of people. And if the plan doesn't go through as it is right now with the rezone plot and the development, can you think about 150 single use or SFDs there and 600 apartments trying to get on that road at that level? Odom would have to be 2 lanes. It's got to be 2 lanes going both ways, and that intersection is going to have to be controlled somehow, whether it's roundabout, God forbid, or lights or whatever. But that road is in there, and I understand what a lot of people say about this, and I don't disagree with what the gentleman said about that with their planning and zoning and everything. But it's on the books right now. You can pull it up, 2018 zone map, and it goes back decades. So the critical mass is in place for a blow up. It's just how big and how do we control the explosion, in my opinion, all right? That's what I got to say about that.
Thank you, sir. That was the last public comment card I had on 11 MSP. Is the MSP Mr. Todd Hoover?
Yes, sir.
Come on down. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Todd Hoover. My address is 110 Sierra Valley Loop in Maumelle Valley Estates. And we actually kind of tabled this already, so that was kind of my request, is I just wanted to see some more information on what's going on with the MS Street. I know it doesn't tie directly to the rezoning, but it is a backbone for them to use for this rezoning. So basically, I just wanna see some more information. I looked through the information that was handed out through the planning commission, and they listed the increase in daily trips to 3,859, which seems ridiculously low for 120 apartments, 237 townhouses, 250 single-family lots, and a 17-acre commercial property. Like that, a cursory run through most AI models kicked out about 5,000 daily trips, and that's just residential. That's not counting any commercial at all. That's not counting Amazon deliveries, Walmart deliveries, any of that. That seems ridiculously low at 3,000. So I just wanted to see an impact study on, I wanted to see the numbers that they used for their build out for what they had. And also that's a huge water area for us right along that creek. So I wanted to see what we had planned for drainage. I know they're not here, but my neighbor's yard gets flooded up every time it runs over runs over Odom there. So that was my big thing, is I just wanted to table it until I could see some numbers. I've already got the request in, just kind of waiting on that to come in. So that was my biggest thing.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, thank you guys.
So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to table ordinance 1170 to the first meeting in April.
Second.
I've got a motion second to table ordinance 1170 to the first meeting in April. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. This is tabled to the first meeting in April, which brings us to the second reading of ordinance 1171, amending the Maumelle City Code. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1171, an ordinance to amend Chapter 90, Vegetation of the Maumelle City Code, to abate pending prosecutions under the prior version of the Maumelle City Code and for other purposes.
Thank you, ma'am. I've got two public comments on this. First of all, Mrs. Gilbert. I should probably stop moving away from the mic as I talk.
Genevieve Gilbert, 404 Riverlands Drive, and just a couple of observations about the situation generally. So I'm talking specifically as to the setback, the buffer zone that's being discussed in this amendment. So that buffer zone has been presented largely as the reason businesses don't locate here, and I think it's just an oversimplified explanation, and the public should be made aware of other reasons. So we have a loyalty problem on top of that. People are willing to leave Maumelle and drive for other things. Even considering the services that we have here, people still leave to get services elsewhere. We also have an aging population, among other things. The best evidence that this buffer zone isn't the only reason that businesses won't locate here is that Viet Witches, the restaurant that intended to go into lot 700A, came prepared at the last session when they were going to present their preliminary development plan, and they had observed the 50-foot buffer zone and setback. And it was, from what I was told by a city official that evening, the landowner who didn't approve that plan. So the restaurant was ready to move forward, but the landowner was not. The second thing is that this proposed change arose from a discussion about lot 700A, and the land in question is a planned commercial development. Consequently, even if the buffer zone is removed, if this amendment is adopted and the ordinance is changed right now, the city, if desired, has authority to require in a preliminary development plan a 50-foot clearing and grading setback. So the landowner would not be entitled by right to a 50-foot or anything less than 50-foot clearing grading setback. What does this mean? Considering the lack of a defined and clearly set entitlement as to setback, any threatened equal protection claim would be quite an interesting claim to make. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And Mrs. Saunders. Did I have you on the wrong one?
I think so, because it's the amended master street plan, and that's been deferred, so.
I'm sorry, would you like to talk about that one while you're up here?
No, not yet. I'm not prepared. I'm BJ Saunders. I live at 12 Riverwood Place, and my question is not gonna be answered today because I wanted to know who was gonna pay for those streets. If they're approved, if that amendment to the major master street plan.
Not the city, or certainly not while I'm here.
Okay, well, that was one thing, and then the other thing I just wanted to say to everyone is we don't need any more multifamily built houses, apartments, townhouses. I don't think that's where we want Maumelle to go. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, I wrote the wrong ordinance number down when I was sorting through those.
I said what I wanted to say.
I'll go ahead and open the floor for discussion then on this, the second reading of ordinance 1171.
I think there's one more card. On that other card. Ordinance 1170, 1171. Yep.
Oh, you stumped us with 2 cards and 3 issues. Sir, come on down.
Well, I figured on the agenda that it would be, pardon me.
Come on down, sir.
My error. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you allowing me the interruption. Okay, Alan Bruce Wagner, 36 Chico. We hadn't moved since a while ago, so. Anyway, my question is this. What is abatement of prosecution in this place, on this statement? Is this that we don't have enough space left on the boulevard that the next guy's not gonna be able to pay a fine, so we're not gonna charge this guy his fine because he didn't do what he's supposed to do? Am I misinterpreting that? Are we giving him money back after the fact, so to speak? That's one of the biggest issues I got with 1171. I don't care about changing the thing per se. I know that things can be changed, things have to change. But, once again, we're telling somebody, or in my opinion, we're telling somebody with abatement of prosecution, hey, if you don't like our laws, violate them, find somebody, get them to run a bill up on it, and we'll set it back for you later. And you won't have to pay your fine. So, I don't believe that's what we want to say. And if I'm misinterpreting that, I apologize. But when people say abatement of prosecution, future prosecution will be not in the future, but abatement of prosecution that exists for existing means we're going to forgive past or pending, which means it's active right now, in my opinion. And I'm sorry if I misunderstood that. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if that's what we're doing, I disagree totally with 1171, at least that wording of it. The guy did it, he bailed out. Now, if you want to negotiate some kind of settlement at that point on it, because what would that fine have been? How much would it have been? But I believe it says to everybody, whether it's got to do with the boulevard or not, and it's setback, hey, I can bust the law, and I can find a buddy, and I can get away with it. And I don't think that's what we want to tell them. I don't think that's what we want them believing. And even if we're not trying to say that per se, they get it in their heads, everybody pushes the limits on everything to see what they can get by with. Nothing's illegal till somebody slaps their hand. And that's the world we're living in now, pretty much. So, if it's illegal, keep it illegal. Let him pay the fine. There's a lot of people paid a lot of fines over the years for stuff that's legal now. They ain't sending their money back. Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate y'all putting up with me tonight.
Thank you, sir. I'll go ahead and open the floor for discussion on ordinance 1171. And I'd ask the city attorney really quickly to explain the abatement issue. Mr. City Attorney?
Sure. So whenever a legislature changes the law, ordinarily, I'll just say whenever the city council changes a law, it ordinarily would not have an effect on pending prosecutions. So if somebody was cited under a prior version of the law and then the law changes, ordinarily, that wouldn't affect the prosecution. But I understood from the city council's discussion, and maybe I misunderstood, but I think this was what I understood, that that was a provision that the city council wanted, or excuse me, Councilmember Gardner wanted included because of the unfairness in letting a series of commercial establishments in our town center get by without this provision, without any citation, so forth, without enforcing this provision in the past. It's a fairness point.
Thank you, sir. Was there any additional discussion? If not, this will be on third reading at the next council meeting, and I will let y'all deal with it without me, because we're moving on to new business, which is the election of the mayor pro tem for the next meeting, which I will not be in attendance for. So it is prudent for the city council at this point to elect the president pro tem for the next meeting. Open the floor for discussion. Okay, I thought I was going to wait you out. Historically in the past, the city's tradition has been to take the longest sitting council member and ask if they would like to be nominated to that position or nominate them. That hasn't always happened. There's no hard or fast rules. That person will just run the meeting and serve as a council member throughout that entire time. But we could flip a coin or do a nod it or whatever they say. Councilmember Wesley?
I nominate Mr. Chad Gardner.
I have a nomination for Mr. Chad Gardner. We'll take a nomination in a second and a vote.
Second.
I've got
Slow down.
Councilmember Holt, who is the longest sitting council member, was very quick to pawn that off. So I have a motion and a second to nominate Mr. Gardner as Mayor Pro Tem. Is there any discussion on that? Any additional nominations? You can nominate yourself if you feel so inclined. It doesn't count if you vote no, Mr. Gardner. So all those in favor of appointing Councilmember Gardner as Mayor Pro Tem for the March 16th council meeting, please signify by saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
All opposed, no.
No.
Motion carries. Doesn't count.
It does count.
It does count, but you were outvoted. So that concludes new business. Under mayor's comments, just congratulations again to James. I'm excited to see what he can do with that department. While I'm shouting out department heads, it has been very nice having Mr. Ashford here in the finance department. Ms. Sousa still helping wrap up and prepare for the auditors in cooperation with Mr. Ashford. We've closed out 2025 already, so we're on track for the auditors, who I believe are going to be here in 2 weeks from now. So that's good, especially considering there's a change right at that time. Don't forget, tomorrow's election day. If you can forget, then you're not on whatever mailing list I'm on, because I'm getting text messages every 5 minutes. So just keep that in mind. Council member comments? Councilmember Williams.
Yes, sir, thank you. I just wanted to say, our company, City of Faith, recently hosted a Night to Remember Mardi Gras Gala for the Alzheimer's Association. Several of you came, and I think we all had a real good time, but I'd love to announce that we raised $50,000 for the Alzheimer's Association.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. We're very proud of that.
I've heard not only did you, well, now I know you've raised money, but I've heard it was quite the shindig. Council member, I thought he was giving you a timer. Councilmember Gardner.
I was speaking with James last week and was complimenting him on the effects of was it the Mower Max that we bought? You can tell the trails and the rights of way that have been cleared, and they went behind my house on Odom with their nice little saw blade, and the guy just had the biggest smile on his face while he was operating it. But the work that they're putting in is tremendous, and James said just the time savings, the safety feature is tremendous. But that's a great purchase, and we're just now beginning to see the benefits of that. And we're going into growing season, so we can see lots of benefits there. So thanks y'all for your hard work on that. It's awesome.
And just a reminder, they strapped a plow on that thing and we're scraping up ice. It didn't quite we weren't using it on the roads really, but the few parking lots. Holy smokes. Councilmember Gronwald.
Well, since we won't be here before March 20th, the organization for which I represent, Arkansas Single Parent Scholarship Fund, is having a day of giving. The city is doing a proclamation, so I just wanted to thank the mayor for that. So we'll get that out. But that's March 20th, and that's an opportunity for us to support our single parents in Maumelle. But the organization supports single parents all across the state in order to go back and get higher education degrees and get better paying wages for themselves and their families. So it also helps the state economy.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Williams?
Okay, one more thing. So, yes, because James is getting all of his kudos, I wanted to report that I did report I think the water is down in Lake Valencia, and when it went down, it was just trash all along the shoreline. And I reported that, and it was probably picked up within hours after I reported that, and it looks fabulous. So.
Awesome. Shout out to Parks. I think it's Parks.
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah,
Public
Parks.
Works.
It's Parks. He's very quickly trying
Good job,
to.
though, James.
He's like, don't give me that job.
James,
Good job,
you,
James.
you can take credit for that anyway.
Councilmember Tierney?
I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow is the election, and so if you support any of the bond issues that are up for a vote tomorrow, you want to be sure to, or if you oppose them, you want to be sure to get your vote in.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Shin?
I was going to ask if I could speak to James about some C-Click fix items on the all-inclusive playground, just to get an update. There's a gate missing. The merry-go-round needs
You
probably.
can, but it'd probably be more helpful to talk with Parks,
Okay.
who is not here.
But he just took credit.
James,
for the
come on down. You took credit for Parks, now you're going to.
It needs to be lubricated.
It's very hard to push,
Yeah, it's really hard to turn.
So I neglected to remind everybody that on March 13th is the grand opening of Millwood Station. As of now, we have 5 or 6 full-time food trucks that are locating there. So you can come out that night, and there will be activities there pretty much all weekend. So it should be an exciting time since we've been talking about that for years. And more good news. I don't see Scott in here, but Scott has made 2 very kind of key new hires in his department. And sometimes it turns out that someone leaves and you think that you're taking a step backwards and you think it's the end of the world. And then, a little bit of time and you find some folks where they're lined up to be taking multiple steps forward based on this. So if you see any new faces in planning, don't be mean to them. We want them to stay. City attorney comments? City clerk comments? If that's the case, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to adjourn the city council meeting, March the 2nd, 2025.
I've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you for your time.